What? You said me in a wig could make me look professional? That's what I heard you say. Even if that's right. All right, I know I usually write over here for the start, but I'm just going to use the whole board today. So let's go ahead and go. The faster we can go, the better. What? I'm trying to look great.
Yeah, I know. I was just about to say
It's actually not on purpose. It's just.
Until Mr. Wallace comes.
Yeah, I have to perform. So trust me. Ask Mr. Wallace if I'm professional. He'll say absolutely not. All right. Unit 3, day 11. Guys, I am similar to you. I'm getting pretty exhausted by these, or day 12, sorry. I'm getting pretty worn out on these essays, but we can do it. I am so proud of how you guys have gotten through these essays. Day 12. Day 11 was last class with Mr. Kaysen when I was out.
William knows it all.
No, it's fair. I actually accidentally said 11 because I was not here for day 11. So, all right, day 12. We're talking, let's see, today's date, 12/4. We do only have 8 classes left together, and then you guys have PE. So let's make the most of it. Let's make the most of it. I will miss this class. You guys are, don't tell anybody I said this, one of my favorites.
I know we're the best favorite class.
All right.
You said you need all those things you write so You said it to all your classes, right?
I don't.
I'm going to look at these recordings and make sure you don't.
You guys are pretty much the only one that I routinely recorded. Yeah. You guys are the best at this portion. All right. Daniel 8, 10, and 12 is what we're talking about today. These are the weird passages of Daniel. You guys have probably heard the story of Daniel and the lion's den. Is that correct for some of you?
Yeah.
That's what you guys discussed because that's the fun stuff. That's why I had those fat lions on this board. Also because I thought it would just be funny. But Daniel and the lion's den, not what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about some stuff that unless you go to very specific types of churches, your church probably just goes, too weird, don't want to get into it. We're talking today about, and if you go to one of those churches, I'm going to tell you this. They don't read it in the same genre that I'm going to teach it to you. Teach it to you in a scholarly-based genre and looking at ancient people. Because if we don't understand things like ancient people do, we can't apply it to ourselves as modern people. All right, so we're looking today at apocalyptic literature, and eschatology. These are giant 50-cent words that only a crazy person would teach to freshman kids. So I'm going to teach them to you because they are important. You need to know what they are. You need to know what it means. And I get to look cool when freshman kids know about these things, can actually talk about it. So eschatology, I'm going to go first, is the study of the end times. The study of the end times. All right. I'm going to give the fancy word for the end times in Bible stuff is the eschaton. All right, so you're going to catch some Revelation stuff. Just hang on in there, Eliud, and we'll get there. All right, the eschaton. ESCHATON.
Oh, you thought it was him?
I thought I was about to get in trouble. All right, the eschaton. Eschaton is the end of times. The end times. All right, it's when time is over, when things are destroyed. Now, I want to say this. I want to make it very clear, and why I'm doing this before I get to apocalypticism. For biblical authors, for Bible authors, or actually I should say this. The biblical eschaton, this is, let's do parentheses around biblical, do biblical parentheses, OT, Old Testament, or Daniel, eschaton, the biblical end times has already happened. I'm going to get some weird time confusion stuff about this today. All right, the end times has already happened. The apocalypse is over. apocalypses have happened throughout history. We're going to discover this today and discuss literature about this stuff. Right? The apocalypse is when the world is destroyed. That's what we call the eschaton, right? The eschaton, the end of times, is when the world is destroyed. Now, a careful note to please add for this is that the authors typically mean their world. Right? They don't mean the entire earth. What they mean is there's a cataclysmic event or an earth-shattering, culture-shattering event that has disrupted their culture so much that it's as if the world has ended. Let's think about in social studies. You guys have talked about the Spanish conquistadors, right? You guys know about that?
No.
When Spain conquered South America and the Aztecs.
Yeah.
What
I
about?
don't listen to wars.
You don't listen to what?
Wars.
You don't listen to wars.
Yeah.
So you haven't paid attention to most Bible classes because most Bible classes are around wars.
I don't.
All right. What about when colonizers conquered Europe? European colonizers conquered the natives, the indigenous people here. Guess what that was for ancient people, or for those people? The eschaton. That's the end of their time, right? Because their culture is gone. So when we're talking about this stuff today with the eschaton and Daniel, we're talking about the exile, right? Those events are the eschaton, the end of days. They've experienced, we say, the apocalypse. So in many ways, all of this writing is post-apocalyptic writing, or after the end of times writing. Now, all right, I know this is super confusing and weird because I'm saying all this stuff that the book says is going to happen in the future has happened in the past, so we're discussing futuristic stuff about the past. But are we kind of tracking on this? A little bit? I'll get back into this in a second. All right, apocalyptic literature. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to guide us through characteristics. These are some things, I'll say here, characteristics of the literary genre. All right, if you guys haven't picked up on this, from day one till now, I love genres of literature in the Bible. Styles of writing. Right? Styles of writing, types of writing. This is one of them. The literary style, literary genre of apocalyptic writing. I'm going to give you a fancy way of saying this is apocalypticism. We don't need to spell that, right? We don't want to learn that?
No.
Apocalypticism. But apocalyptic writing has a few key characteristics. The first is, there's a few key facts about it. In the name of a long dead famous person. Almost every single one of these books that is written in this style is written way after this person has been known to die, and then they go, this guy wrote it. No, he didn't. He's been dead 200 years. That's kind of the case for most of these. There's a few exceptions, but for the most part, this is one of our key characteristics, right? In the name of a long dead famous person, right? We get like Moses wrote it or Enoch wrote it, things like that.
Oh, you thought you were.
I thought. All right. I thought, but then somebody with hair came through, so I knew it couldn't be Mr. Wallace.
What?
All right. So
I'm gonna tell him to look at.
I make it a point to make a ball joke every single time Mr. Wallace comes through, just so you know.
Oh,
All right.
you shaved your head because of.
I shaved my head to mess with him, and then I got stuck like this. So another one of our key facts is there's a tour. Let's see, an angelic or heavenly figure. Acts as tour guide and interpreter. Man, I'm so glad that I get to spend so much time on this stuff today. All right, angelic or heavenly figure acts as the tour guide and the interpreter. In every single one of these, there is some sort of being. In today's story, it's the angel Gabriel. he grabs the character Daniel and says, I'm going to show you some heavenly stuff. I'm going to interpret it for you. And then every single time, this heavenly figure not only gives this tour of something, right? He gives some sort of heavenly tour. He also interprets the meanings and tells him what it means. So this leads us to our next key thing, and this is a big one. Part of why I do this is to say it's meant to be understood by the reader. All right, it's meant to be understood by the reader. All of this stuff, every single time we get apocalyptic writing, it's going to tell us how to interpret it and what it means. Every single time. It's not a mystery. It's meant to mystify. All right, this is a fancy Lang thing that I just came up with, and it sounds really great. Not a mystery. Not a mystery.
A mystify. I just made a word.
Meant to mystify. All right, mystify means to give wonder and awe. Right, meant to mystify. Man, I sound smart if I say things like that. As I misspell mystify.
You sound like a college professor.
All right, meant to mystify. I don't know how to spell that, but it's not a mystery. It's meant to meant to give awe and wonder to things that we know about. All right, that's another good way to say it. It's meant to give awe and wonder to things we know about. It's not meant to be some foreign, far-off thing. The book of Revelation is our most famous example of apocalypticism. It's in the very last book of the New Testament, very last book of the Bible. And at the very beginning, it says, the wise person will know and understand these things. Guess what that doesn't mean? It's a mystery we can't grasp. We're supposed to grasp it. Daniel is one of these. All right, we also get, uses myth language. Uses myth language to retell and give theological meaning to history. All right, I know that's a lot. I'll say it again, and I'll leave it written up here. Theological meaning to history. Guys, are we all proud that my handwriting's gotten better?
Yeah, I'm actually really proud of it.
Look at that. No?
Yeah. It doesn't look like chicken scratch.
I'm going to drop your grade lower and what is this?
Oh.
All right. It uses myth language to retell and give theological meaning to history. What I mean by this is myth language is dragons and the sun melting and locusts having human teeth and body armor and frogs that spit out demons. Right? Those are things that pop up in the Bible, if you're not aware. We also get in today's passage, we get a one-horned goat, aka a unicorn, but a goat that has one horn and is like the size of a country, and it jumps across the planet, flies all the way across the world.
It was in the Bible, it's real.
The Bible says that there's a one-horned unicorn.
It's real?
So where is it?
It's dead.
It's dead. Okay, here's the deal. This is apocalypticism. This is a good point. When we read it today, or when you guys read it on your own, it says it, and then it explains what it means. But what it says is that there's a one-horned unicorn, flies across the world, and then it goes to heaven and fights God. Weird.
I don't think that would.
I don't like that.
There's
Right?
a myth on his name.
Well, here's the deal. It's using myth, and then immediately, because guess what else it's going to do? It's going to be meant to be understood, and there's going to be an angelic figure that interprets it. So what we actually get to find out through those things is that it's about, does anybody have a guess what that story could be about?
Oh, God's strength.
God's strength. In some ways, yes, that's actually not bad, and we're going to get to that too. The angel Gabriel in that says, this is Persia conquering Babylon. And it's really weird, but he's giving metaphors for the way that one country conquers another and allows Israel to get out of exile, showing God's strength. What? So it's using this myth language and these giant things to explain something, because in all apocalyptic writing, it is about about authors near future, or let's see, or recent past, It's our ancient future. Yeah. Probably. My computer is what? Oh, it's sorry. Put it in this guy's waist? No. Yeah. Always. You guys are the best at listening to these lectures, so I recorded it. A little bit, but you guys talk about like on topic things typically with me, and you interact with me, whereas other classes don't. I barely ever have to correct you here. So this is about authors near future. In other words, the author's about to experience what these metaphorical events are describing. The author's about to, or they just did experience them. For Daniel, they've experienced the exile. They've experienced Greece conquering Persia and Persia conquering Babylon. They've experienced that. They've experienced all of it. So they're writing about it to give meaning to it. Right? And we're going to, when you guys read this later, because you will need to read this for your essays, you'll read about this stuff in chapter 8. Daniel chapter 8 is what I'm talking about. Daniel chapter 8 and 9 is kind of the main targets of our stuff. All right. Now I'm going to give 2 more sections real quick. 2 more sections. When and why is our first one. When and why of, and I'm just going to put ... That's apocalyptic literature. I don't want to write that giant word out again. It's a lot. All right. Is this better, guys? More about it? All right. The when and why. It's, all right. Formalized in Daniel after Babylonian exile. All right, formalized in Daniel, this book, after the Babylonian exile. Whoever wrote this section of Daniel, we believe this book took several different authors to actually compile, but they formalized it in Daniel after the Babylonian exile. They wrote it afterwards, so we don't know the exact date, somewhere between 539 and 340. I don't know. That's a random spitball. I know it's after 539, and I know it's before 300, somewhere in that time range. Doesn't really matter the details a ton. But it's after the Babylonian exile, although some proto-apocalyptic writing in Minor Prophets. All right, I'm going to explain the Minor Prophets in just a moment. But proto-apocalyptic, if you want a quick definition, do the little arrow definition thing. Proto-apocalyptic means before this genre was formalized, we had some of these things and ideas happening in the text, but not all of them, right? We had some of this symbolic language, but not all of them as a formal thing happening with other prophets. So it took hundreds of years as a genre to form fully before we got to this fully symbolic language thing. And again, you guys will think this stuff is really cool. I guarantee you'll think this is a neat story when we read it, or when you read it. And then we need to know the why. All right. I haven't given all these characteristics. One of the characteristics is that there's always righteous people that survive a giant cataclysm of an evil monster attacking. Right? There's always an evil monster, like Godzilla, always attacks people. There's always righteous people that survive because of God's divine justice. So what do you think the purpose of this writing then would be about? Anybody? Anybody have a why we would write like this? Justice and provide hope. Yeah, justice, provide hope in divine justice. I think justice is a great fit for that. In divine justice. Good conquers evil. Good conquers evil. Evil. The righteous build a new world. Build a new world. Every single time in this writing, we get something of hope. This is why the fundamental purpose of this writing style is to give hope to people in suffering. I'm sure you can imagine for a quick second, you are suffering, you are you're hurt and tormented by a group of people, right? Maybe you are a Native American being conquered by colonizers. You know what's going to be really comforting for you when you sit around is to talk about stories where evil monsters get vanquished by knights, or not your version, not knights, but get vanquished by somebody, right? You're going to go, that would be really helpful. Zeus flies down and kills those white ghosts. That'd be a really helpful story because you're going to be hopeful about it. There's reason for things. This is our goal of apocalyptic writing, is to give hope to suffering people. Give hope to suffering people. This is one of the things I'm going to ask you about today. When I ask you guys for that essay, and you could take note of this, is the whole purpose, but it's supposed to give hope to exiles, to people that are returning from the worst suffering of their lives. It's supposed to give hope to them. It's fundamentally meant for hope. All right, I'm going to take a quick turn. Next class, when you guys come into class, we're just going to start class. I'm going to try to do a 5 to 6 minute intro. We're going to go right into reading about the starting essays on the minor prophets. You'll have almost all self-guided work time to do individual essays for the entire class period, 500 words on 4 minor prophets. So I'm going to introduce the minor prophets now, so you know what I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about. And hopefully, if you want to get a head start on your research and writing, you can do that now. Does that make sense? So this is kind of a shift in our lecture to something else, and then we're going into I'll give you 2 choices, do what you do best in just a moment.
Wait, did we do, so we're doing the 500 words of
500 words by yourself, but you have to do it by next class.
the 500 word essay?
500 word essay by next class. Yeah? All right.
It's an in-class assignment.
Today's, the one you have to do today, you do by next class. Yes.
So it's an assignment.
I hate giving homework, but it's going to be homework.
Is the length only 500?
Shut up, bro.
Up.
Why is he talking?
Minimum 500. But for you, minimum 750.
Yes. Oh.
Deal?
Yeah, deal.
All right, class vote. Junior has to write 750.
Oh, yes.
Oh! He nerfed himself. All right. All right, the minor prophets. The minor prophets. These are the short prophetic texts, the shorter ones. I love these so much. I think you guys will as well. But these are the minor prophets in the Tanakh. And remember, this is a Tanakh class, not just Old Testament. But we're discussing the Hebrew Bible the way Jesus read the Hebrew Bible. I'll leave this up. I know I'm getting in your guys' way. I'll leave these notes up for a while. Minor prophets we call the Book of the 12. The Book of the 12. The 12 minor prophets. It's 12 of these guys. Daniel's one of them. Right? Daniel's one of them. That's why we're discussing them with Daniel. He's one of our 12 minor prophets. It doesn't mean they're less important. What it means is they're shorter than the others. Jeremiah, Isaiah, Ezekiel were the major prophets, and we only say that because they're giant. Sometimes we call them the former and then the latter, whatever. Well, we call some the former, some the latter. It's a whole thing. These are the minor prophets. We call it the Book of the 12 in Tanakh because it used to be one book. I like it better like that because it spans from United Kingdom of Israel, Kingdom of Israel to all the way to end of what am I doing? All right, to end of Babylonian exile. To the end of the Babylonian exile. This is what's awesome about this. It's 12 guys that cover about 450 years of history. Something around 4 to 450 years of history. That's a pretty cool thing to see. We get the northern exile from the Assyrians, where the Assyrians start their deportations and enslavement of Israelites, all the way to Babylon doing the same, all the way to Babylon being destroyed and Israel getting rebuilt. It's really amazing view of history. All right, so we get this all through these books. I'm gonna have you guys read at some point. You'll need to read probably over this weekend while you're doing your Daniel essay. Also read another minor prophet, and you're gonna see as we read them the next couple classes, because your essays that you'll do on that research or on that test day will have to cover some minor prophets. But you're going to see 4 different types of prophetic statements, depending on which ones you read, right? So I want you to write, I didn't write it here, because I'm running out of space. My handwriting's big. I want you to write 4 types of prophetic message. All right, 4 types, please write that, 4 types of prophetic message. I'm going to put it over here, but it belongs over there. 4 types of prophetic message. Four types of prophetic message. All right, I'm going to go fast, and then we're done. You need to give me test questions, and you need to start your essays. So the first is oracles. Who's seen this word before? All right, oracles means direct words from God. Direct words from God. Oracles. Oracles. Direct words from God. All right, that's our first one. Oracles means direct words from God. You'll see that it said, "Son of man, here's an oracle." Or he'll say, "An oracle came to me and said," and then he'll give the words. The prophet is saying, and I believe this, we should believe this, but the Bible wants you to believe this. The prophet is claiming that they are speaking exact words from God in oracles. Our second one is, and we've seen this one. Tell me where we've seen this one when I tell you, but prophetic actions. Ezekiel, good shot. All right. Yeah, Isaiah did some of it, but we saw prophetic actions. That one I don't think I have to spend a ton of time on. This is Ezekiel, the drama queen, living out and doing actual actions that look like Israel. If you want a fun one, Hosea, you can put a quick note. Hosea does this. He marries a prostitute, and then the prostitute goes back. They have a kid together, but then she goes and starts becoming a prostitute again. Then he has to buy her back from her pimp, and he does that like 4 times. No, it literally says buy her back from her owner. So, pimp. He buys her back. He keeps buying her back, and some translations will say pimp. And then she keeps doing it, and he says, this is what Israel does to God. But it's prophetic action. Our next is, I know I'm going fast, but I can tell we're about to lose control of ourselves, and that's okay. This is, what? We're falling apart. That's okay. You guys are super impressive how long you can hang in here for this. All right, visions is, God shows things, and prophet interprets. And prophet interprets. This is like Ezekiel with the valley of dry bones, right? They see a dream, they see something wondrous, and they go, this is what it means, and they tell you about it. Our next, and I don't have to spend a ton of time on this one is very similar to visions, but apocalyptic Apocalypticism, because now I get to say this word because you should know what it means in context. Apocalypticism, or apocalyptic writing. That stuff, right? Where they're using this giant symbolic language, giant mythological language to explain their current situation and the theology of it. All right. Are we super lost or are we feeling okay? Give me fist of 5 how we feel. 5 is great.
For vision, you said God shows things and prophet what?
All right, you guys, this is great overall. Visions is God shows things, prophet interprets.
I feel like I'm in college for these.
This is a lot. You guys are impressive that you can get through this. This is the goal. So, guys, yeah, this does feel like college. I've set this class up to do my experience of college because did I get bullied? No. No. I did have a professor that thought that I was. He thought that I was from Europe. He didn't like Europeans because they had cheated on his test. So a white guy in Mississippi. He hated German students. Yeah, white guy in Mississippi, hated German students, thought they'd cheat, called me, said that I was one of them. Every class period, it was a once-a-week class, he'd walk up to me, ask if I understood English and needed him to talk slower. And I would say, I'm from I'm from Florida, I know English. And he'd go, okay, and then walk away and then ask me the next class anyways.
I wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, and he made all of us Europeans. I say that because he thought I was one of them. Even though he was a white guy from Mississippi, he thought I was from Germany. Yeah.
You should have been like, I came out.
Good catch, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
That was recorded though.
Oh,
All right.
I didn't even say that. That's the same, right?
All right, so here's the deal. We got 30 minutes left, y'all. Great job listening to this 30-minute lecture. Very impressive. You guys hung in there. I think only one of you guys slept pretty much at all. Only one slept through the whole thing at least. Right, Yvonne? Yeah. All right. So we're going to go ahead. I want you to spend 15 minutes submitting all your test questions. The rest of time should be spent researching Daniel and apocalyptic literature. Please use the Anchor Bible Dictionary. Use those videos and get going. Yeah.